Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome to, what day is it? Thursday. It is Thursday. I can't believe it's already Thursday. Guys, it's September 5th, 2024. How you doing? School has started. Kids are busy. Parents are busier. What's going on? What are we eating, drinking, smoking? What are we doing this time of the day? Where are you at 5:25 a.m. Eastern Standard Time? What part of the world are you at? Guys, thank you so much. 13,200. Where did we all come from? I so appreciate this community. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Guys, did you hear that Wade Wilson said bye, bye, bye to his dad? Who's your daddy? This guy. Who somebody had said they weren't familiar with the case. Somebody said Steve, Wade's dad, his bio dad, should be brought up on charges of rape because Wade's bio mom was 14 when she was pregnant with Wade. The problem is Wade's bio dad was 15. So there were a 15-year-old kid and a 14-year-old kid. And one's just as dumb as the other, and I mean that because clearly they thought that they were in love. They tried to raise Wade for about 6 months. Steve said we had Wade for about 6 months. Then Steve got in trouble, and he went to prison. And when he came back, Wade had been adopted out. And, I'm sure that he had to sign the paperwork too. But, being such a young person, and having to be responsible for another young person, they did what they thought they should do. And, Wade was never in the system. He went from one loving home, though dysfunctional, where there was Steve says there wasn't a drugs. That wasn't going on. I'm not saying everybody was great mental health. We were young, lost kids, but there was none of the drugs going on at the time. So they just knew that somebody else could do better. And obviously, Steve, the bio dad, was not, he wasn't a responsible being. He was only 15, 16 when Wade popped out and said, I'm here, with those big smile and the dimples. And so Wade was raised by a family friend and adopted by a family friend who, Wade's bio mom, her family was friends with this family through church, and Wade was brought up with a bunch of love, and they did everything they could for Wade. When Wade was 18 years old, he reached out. He wanted to know who his mom and dad was. He reached out. His mom and dad both were reciprocated. Now, his mom and dad are no longer together. They haven't been together. But let me tell you something about Steve. Steve, Wade's bio dad, has been with his wife for a really, really, really long time. They knew each other way back when they were teenagers, okay? So Steve does have loyalty in his bones, and he doesn't say a bad word about his ex, Wade's bio mom. He hasn't said a bad word about anybody, including his own son. He says he loves his son. He would do anything for his son. He doesn't like his son right now. Why would you like your son? You'll hear in the conversation that Wade says to his dad, hey, you turned in state's evidence on me. And his dad said, you did that too. You did that too. So don't be pissed at me for doing what you did. But I guess Wade's attitude is, but I'm your son. Well, that doesn't give you the right, Wade Wilson, to go around unaliving people and dragging other people into the bullshit. Your dad answered the phone that day. He wasn't prepared for what the fuck you told him. And then when you told him, knowing that the guy had already been in trouble with the law, he had an obligation to say something. You're making somebody accessory to MURDER because they answered the phone and said hello. And then you're pissed off that somebody doesn't want to be an accessory to that. Pull your pants up, your jumpsuit, whatever the fuck you're wearing there, and own it. I think Wade will ultimately reach back out to his dad because I have never heard a conversation where Steve, Wade's bio dad, does not end the conversation by saying, I love you, son. I love you, son. He keeps calling him my son, my son, my son. This isn't because the guy was convicted of unaliving two women and being the demon spawn he is. Sorry, Steve. This is because this man says, that's my son. That's my son. It breaks my heart that this is the way he's turned out. It wasn't through my fault. I didn't do this. It wasn't through his adoptive parents. They didn't do this. This is because Wade has something evil inside of him that he likes, and he acts on that. He has some sort of hatred or something towards women. Now, maybe it's because he feels abandoned by his bio mom. But he's a grown man and should realize he doesn't take care of his kid, so he can't be pissed off that a 14-year-old couldn't take care of hers. He is the most... Nope, Gypsy is the most entitled person I have heard about. But Wade Wilson comes very close to it. Guys, listen to this conversation and tell me, do you think that he'll reach out to his dad later on? I think he will.
I did see Wade the night before his sentencing. I had reached out to the county jail, and they were, to be honest with you, the supervisors and stuff that I spoke to, they were very sympathetic. They understood where I was coming from. I said to them, listen, I don't know after tomorrow that I'll ever be given the chance to speak to him or see him. And looking back on that, probably wasn't the best time, but it is what it is. They allowed me to do a video visit with him. And just being 100% honest, he blessed me. When I tell you, told me to die slow, told me, you're not my dad, I don't give a fuck about you, you're a piece of shit, all that. And he did add, you were a state witness against me. You're a piece of shit for being a state witness. And I said, first of all, you were a state witness. I mean, you testified against a guy that wanted you to supposedly kill his or unalive his child's mother, and you were a state witness, so what's your point? And, he didn't know what to say to that. All I said to him was, I said, I love you. I said, I will hear you out. I will listen to anything you have to say to me. But in return, I expect you to hear what I have to say to you. And he was mad. He was angry. He wasn't trying to talk. And I said, listen, if you don't want to talk, hang up, and he did. He hung up. So, I went into the sentencing the next day. I'm not going to lie. It hurt my feelings 100%. I don't regret what I did 100%. I would do it again. But it still hurt my feelings, and that's okay. I'm a big kid. I'm a big guy. I can deal with that. But I'm thankful to the supervisors in the jail down there for at least giving me the opportunity to try. And I did try. And I don't think I will try again. That may change. Who knows? But
maybe he'll reach out to you after all the kiosk people. When things die down, he's gonna go back to who he knows will always be there for him, at least to listen to him.
Yeah. Well, and that may be true. And if that time comes, I'm never going to turn my back on him. As far as he's my son. I love him to death. I don't like him. I don't like who he's become. I don't like. My wife asked me last night after those calls and stuff, and she was like, how does that make you feel?
All right, guys. So, what do you think about that? Do you think that at some point those two will talk again? Because I think that they will. I think as Wade gets more and more, as he spends more and more time in solitaire, being alone, and I don't think he'll ever feel sorry for his crimes, but he might feel like he needs those words, I love you, and that he needs them to come from somebody that he knows means them. And I think he knows that his dad loves him. And I think that somewhere he's going to determine what his dad did. I think somewhere he knows what his dad did. But I think, and his dad says, hey, I'd do it again. Wade Wilson is exactly where he should be. And I welcome him to get the unalivement that he deserves. But I do hope that his dad somehow finds peace in his heart and knows that he did the best he could with everything he had for his son. Because, the kiosk is going to run dry, but that's not going to be the thing. He's got money for a while there, and he's limited to certain things that he can get. He's going to need that real connection. And good luck with that, Wade Wilson. Guys, this is Issues with Toddy Onskip. Be better today than you were yesterday. Not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always be kind, guys. Always be kind. Never be Wade Wilson. In fact, if you ever see a Wade Wilson, run for your life.